Hello and welcome to the fourth part of the 5-part mini-series on the Sacred Blueprint. This is my signature system that helps landowners and land stewards birth the optimal blueprint for their dream sanctuary by bridging spirit with form. And this system is going to help your clients to really create the home, the temple, the garden, the community of their dreams that aligns with their soul's purpose as well as the spirit of the land. How many of you can relate to driving by some projects that feel like they've just landed from outer space onto the land? It has nothing to do with the context, nothing to do with the local vibe, the vernacular architecture. Not saying that all the architecture, the designs need to be copies and replicas of the traditional forms in the neighborhood, but something feels off. And even if the project actually looks really beautiful, for those of you who are sensitives, and I know you women architects and interior architects and landscape architects who are watching this, who are intuitive, who do feel things, who do sense when a space is off, you really resonate with this. There's just like something unsettling, ungrounding about the design, about the space. The Sacred Blueprint really will help your clients to create a temple, a sanctuary that really is nourishing, grounding, brings peace, brings alignment. I'm not saying that life needs to always be good, rainbows and butterflies and high vibe all the time, but it's that place where you can come to recalibrate, to be able to receive the nourishment that you need required to be able to face life's challenges. And I know that that's how I feel with coming home to my home. We're still partly under construction. But that's not stopping me to film these videos and move forward with the Sacred Blueprint. You're going to see some upgrades in the background here in my studio in the upcoming months. But we have moved into an existing concrete box structure that belongs to my husband and his family, and we moved back from Canada to Turkey, to this land that we are grateful to have. We're close to the sea, and we have been gifted this land, and it's been quite interesting to create an architecture that brings life to a concrete box. And I'll share maybe a couple images in this video as I'm speaking here. You're going to see some images pop up of the excuse me while I fix my hair, of the central stair element in our home, which has brought a lot of life to the space, because I birthed a design that's starting to bring the feminine principles, the feminine flow, the softer organic forms. And it's really brought a lot more life force and beauty into this home. We also incorporated natural plasters such as tadelact, as well as clay plasters in certain spaces of our home, and brought in lots of natural light, especially down through the stair element. and bringing in color. Color is just such an important piece to bringing healing frequencies, bringing healing in general to the spaces. So in the first 3 parts of this series, I gave you a taste of the first 3 phases of the sacred blueprint system. The first phase is where I hold space for my clients to awaken their soul's purpose in order to hone in on the essence of their dream sanctuary. What is the intention? Without any distractions from the external world, social media, looking at project examples, none of that. I support them to trust the mystery of creation and surrender to it in order to really hone in on what is the essence of this place. I'll give you an example. Some clients of mine think that they are meant to design a like a community center or something like that. But then they find out through this process that actually they needed to design a kindergarten, for example. So you really start to open up to all the possibilities within this first phase without entering into creation already constricted, like having everything figured out already, which is something that we tend to do. And especially now that AI is helping people to design floor plans and images in like milliseconds. There's an expectation, I feel like, for everything to go really fast. But the problem with that and the danger with that is that you miss all these opportunities and you can actually end up with a project that has nothing to do with the spirit of the land, nothing to do with your client's souls, and you're going to actually end up running into all kinds of construction problems, as well as project planning problems. Things are just going to not flow. And in the end, your clients will not end up with a space and place that really honors that honors their soul and helps them to magnetize abundance, vitality, freedom, and joy. In the next phase of the sacred blueprint, in the earlier video, make sure that you watch the earlier sessions to receive the taste of these specific phases in the sacred blueprint journey cycle. In the second phase, I guide my clients to connect with the spirit of the land, to partner with the spirit of the land in order to birth or receive a vision, rather, for their dream sanctuary. And this was a way of practicing in ancient cultures that was an essential way. I think of the great master builders of the Egyptian temples, right? It's just, they would have never thought to ignore the energetics of place. They would have never thought to ignore the energetics of the cosmos, right? When they're aligning those temples. Well, now in modern days, we can create our own temples through our own homes, our communities, our gardens, through these same principles. I'm not saying that every building needs to have the energetic power, and the word fire is coming too, the energetic fire of the pyramids, or a certain temple or a mystery school. those kinds of energies are meant for those kinds of places. But we are evolving, and now that everyone has the capacity to connect with God within themselves, okay, we all have the right to create sanctuaries for ourselves. And we actually have the tools within now to heal the land and heal ourselves. I'm not saying that we always need to do it alone, right? Co-creation is a key piece of this journey of awakening, for sure, and a key piece of creation, of designing. But we're no longer living in a time where priests and priestesses have access to certain mysteries and the rest of the population is ignorant of those. Now we have the capacities within us to be able to access the spiritual wisdom, okay? What does this have to do with architecture? What does this have to do with creating spaces? Like I mentioned before, your clients, you can empower your clients to create healing temples and sanctuaries for themselves, for their communities, for their families, through a spiritual energetic approach, okay? On this path of awakening and evolution, if you omit the spiritual world and the energetic world from that evolutionary path, it's not evolution. It's just not. You take or leave what I have to say, but at this point, it's just not it's not like just like an add-on to a project anymore. This is the future. All fields, medicine, mathematics, physics, science, psychology. I mean, everyone is awakening to the world of spirit and energy. And it's high time that the realm of architecture awakens to this as well and utilizes consciousness and the realms of spirit and energy to bring ease, joy, and beauty, profound beauty, to the spaces that we design for people and the land. This is one of the big pieces, the big puzzles or missing pieces, I feel, that's going to help us evolve and help heal our planet. So in the third phase of the Sacred Blueprint journey, this is the exciting part where I always get excited about it. My clients get excited. Sometimes they even get nervous about it, where I guide my clients to draw the first blueprint, the first essence blueprint. I call it the intuitive map in this process. And this reveals the essence of the concept of the home, the garden, the community, the temple space, whatever. If it's a public or private project, it does not matter. And then we actually start to hone in on the specifics of the energetics of place and really start to understand the energetics in relationship with the physical reality of the property. Where's the entrance? What side is facing north? Which side is facing south, east, west? Where are the existing trees? What are the soils like? And how does this all fit into the energetic map puzzle? Okay. They connect with the heart of the land in this phase. They also discover the heart when they connect with the spirit of the land, when they receive the original blueprint from the spirit of the land. And they're able to tune into, and I guide them through, discovering what are the sweet spots on the property, what are the off spots, what are the areas on the property that feel blocked, that need restoration, harmonization, recalibration. I guide them to feel into where the ley lines are, where the yin water, underground water is traveling, and so many other layers that are a part of the whole picture of the spirit of place, of the spirit of the land, which are really essential for designing healing spaces that honor the unique signature energy of my clients, as well as the unique signature energy of the land. They also experience and get to feel the space by pacing the distances out and starting to mark, actually, with flags, the sizes of spaces on their land. Meanwhile, by the way, at this point, they are still not referring to any project examples from the outside world. At this point, still, they are not taking photographs of their property. We may, at this point, start to look at a Google map from a distance. I work telepathically. I also travel to the sites. I'm able to travel internationally, but I also actually work even more efficiently in many instances, especially for guiding my clients through this initial conceptual design. I work best telepathically because I get even more laser precise about what the potential blockages or the particular blockages or areas that need to be harmonized. I'm able to douse for them from a distance. I help you as an architect to get to be trained in this art of dowsing, map dowsing, as well as telepathic visioning in my Sacred Blueprint certification program, which I will talk about in a moment. So the map starts to emerge in this third phase. And once, and the map is a direct reflection of their soul's purpose. All of these spaces are honoring their soul's purpose. If you are working with a group or couples, then in the beginning phase of the Sacred Blueprint, we get really clear on what the joint purpose is, okay? And also separate purposes that can be honored and incorporated into the design. So I'll give you an example. Let's say if we're working with a couple, the husband loves woodworking and really wants to convert the garage into an incredible woodworking shop, right? That's part of his purpose. And his partner, his wife, she wants to create an outdoor kitchen and outdoor pizza oven for her earth to table events, right? And it's interesting, sometimes these purposes or these activities, they're guised. They're maybe one of the people in the relationship is actually not feeling comfortable to express their desires, right? Maybe one is more dominant over the other. There's all kinds of relationship dynamics. Same with business partners, right? So we make sure that they feel heard, right? Both of them feel heard, and there are spaces in their dream sanctuary that really nourish their soul's purpose. And so the outdoor pizza oven and the woodworking shop, barn or garage conversion is an example of what that could look like in the end of or in the last phases of the sacred blueprint process, okay? So in the fourth phase of the sacred blueprint journey, this is where I support my clients to birth the design. And in this phase, I'm actually taking over more as the architect and starting and actually generating the project design. So floor plans, sections, 3D images, sketches, bringing materiality to the spaces. But I'm always working based on the map the initial intuitive map that they have provided, or they have birthed, rather, they drew themselves, okay? And I have actually designed projects where all the way through in the sacred blueprint without looking at any external references, any other magazines or project ideas, Instagram, Pinterest, none of it. Sometimes in the last phase, though, some of my clients want to express the kinds of materials and share with me the kinds of projects that really light them up. In this phase, I think it's okay because you have the solid footing of the essence blueprint. Now it's just a matter of actually just bringing it to life, bringing color to it, and really refining the roof shape, the walls, the footprint. And then, of course, you're going to be looking at if the projects that you're working on do require you to submit for building permit, okay? This is when you're actually now you're looking at, okay, the zoning requirements, the setbacks, how many square feet or square meters you can build, all of that. But you still have the energy of the original blueprint driving the project, guiding the project. And because your clients have been empowered through the process to birth it, they're sticking to it more than I've ever seen in any other kind of project that I've worked on in conventional architecture. I've worked on so many projects where clients end up changing their mind, or the architects end up changing their mind. They're not happy with the project. Things are not happening. The funds cut out. They have to stop the project. Something is blocked. I've seen dynamics where the architect will just be such a perfectionist. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Do any of you relate to what I'm saying? Are any of you recovering perfectionists? Where the architect will just obsess over the details over and over and over again and over design, but is designing kind of behind closed doors and just like waiting until it's just so perfect, so perfect, so perfect. And then they're ready to present it. But because the clients have been in the dark for so long about the design, either they don't feel like it's their home. They don't feel like they've been a part of the process. And so often it can be just kind of like a shock to see the project so developed, so refined. So it's really important to empower your clients through this process. This is not typical consulting. This is a sacred mentorship journey, and it is a healing journey. That is what is unique about the sacred blueprint. This is not just about applying sacred geometry. to architecture. This is not just about applying feng shui to architecture or applying biogeometry to architecture. Okay. All of these elements of spiritual design are valuable. I'm talking about a relationship, a sacred relationship that you are building with your clients. And this is actually a sacred container, which is a vessel for the blueprint to stream through. It requires commitment, devotion, dedication, but it also requires joy and fun and imperfection. A willingness to step into a new world and explore what's possible. Dream. Step into your curious inner child. These are the realms where you can tap the substance that creates worlds. So coming down to the design aspect, okay? All of these keys and codes that you've gathered with your client, all the spirit guides, the elements, the angels in the cosmos, the ancestors that are supporting your clients, they're all helping this process when you know how to ask for the help and you know how to give very clear instructions to the universe. It's a manifestation tool, the sacred blueprint. And so in this last phase, not only do I help my clients to design, and of course, as the architect, I'm bringing in my design gifts. I work with clay and models, and I do a lot of hand drawing. I always try to bring in the more of the tactile, artistic drawing techniques versus the digital. Although I do explore and experiment with AI renderings and 3D imagery and SketchUp. This is fine. We can combine these worlds, right? Or these tools rather. But in the end, we create this beautiful vessel, this instrument that has beautiful natural materials, organic forms. I'm not saying that everything has to be a circle or curvilinear. When I say organic, I just mean forms that emit life force, okay? That are life affirming and that really speak to the human, really speak to the human being, really speak to my clients' souls, and are really like that. The project grows out of the land rather than being imposed upon it. This is super important. Then I support them as their mentor, as their guide to manifest this project. And how do we manifest projects? How do we manifest things? It's about helping them to keep the right mindset around their project and giving them the tools to continue that relationship, that communication with the land, helping them to consistently communicate with the place, okay? Some clients I work with that actually don't have properties and they are wanting to magnetize their dreamland. The sacred blueprint system is more of a full, complete system when we actually do have the property, because the property is a key co-creator, right? The spirit of the land is a key co-creator in birthing that optimal blueprint. But it's been pretty amazing what happens also when some of my clients are actively seeking land and they have been able to draw in their ideal property through this visioning process. Okay. So I give them the right manifestation tools. The blueprint itself is now encoded, right, with these keys and codes, with the intention of my clients, with the endorsement of the spirit of the land. Then all kinds of beautiful synchronicities start to open up. I think of a good example with my own home. We have this beautiful central altar piece at the center of our stair with the spiral guard on top. When we were in the construction of this home, I don't even remember if those details were finished. I think it was partway through, and I think they had just been finished, and we were waiting for the building inspector to come to our house. We didn't know when he would come. They usually just show up without not enough heads up. And the building inspector inspects the house and then gives you the right to live there. Okay. And one day I was making a prayer to the water spirit. We live in a wetland. It's not the best place to live, okay, in terms of geopathic stress. There is a lot of underground water, and that can cause draining, sludgy environments, okay? I've worked with the energetics and harmonizing this place several times, and I think we finally are able to keep that geopathic stress energy away from the sleeping areas of our home, because we feel great indoors. And it also depends on your own energetic, right? We've attracted this place for a reason. Water is a big theme here, and the spirit of water has been forgotten here. She has not been respected. There used to be also a cistern, an old cistern on our property. And I think there was actually not only salt water, but natural spring water or just natural sweet groundwater coming up from the earth. And there's a canal behind us it's a straight canal. Canals do not respect the spirit of water because the spirit of water wants to meander. So to make a long story short, there has just been a lot of signs in the neighborhood and on our property that water has not been respected. And I discovered that it was my task to come here to honor her. And so I made it was a very quick, a thank you water kind of gratitude ceremony that I placed some water onto this altar at the center of my stair. I swear 5 minutes later, knock, knock, knock at the door. I open the door. There's this beautiful, big smiling face. And he's like, "Hi, I'm the building inspector." Normally, they're kind of like, they're not that nice. So nice, bright-eyed, smiling human being. And I invited him in, and he said, "I'm just going to inspect, go up the stairs, down the stairs." He went up like water and down the stairs like water. And he's like, "All good. You've got your building permit or your permit to reside in this home." He closed the door. I looked at the water, the altar, and I was just like, wow, that was the smoothest building inspection I have ever received. And we actually did we built some structures and guards and stuff that we thought maybe were not going to be accepted according to building code. but we were supported. And I know with my full soul, with my full being, that it's because I worked with the sacred blueprint in my own home. And I'm continuing to do it phase by phase, continuing to connect with the spirit of the land and really paying attention to what the land needs and what our souls need as a family. So this is the fourth phase, and this is when the blueprint gets birthed. And I tell you, you do not need to churn out hundreds of different options for your clients when you follow this system. You will experience so much joy, creative freedom, ease, and also fulfillment, being able to work on projects that matter. Work on projects with clients that have the same values as you. This is such a good use of your time rather than working on projects for clients or for employers that deplete your energy. So I'm delighted to invite you into the Sacred Blueprint certification program if it feels aligned, if it resonates with you. I am curating a select constellation of women architects, landscape architects, and interior architects in this container. It's a 12-month pathway, and we're building a movement together. And I'm so excited for the beauty and the healing spaces that we will build together. If you are interested, the link to the program outline and the application details are below. When you sign up to receive the details, you will get immediate access to 2 videos. The first video is an outline of the program details. You're also going to get the PDF, the link to download it, as well as the application form. The second video guides you through all the questions of the application. So if you feel called, we're gathering an international group of heart-centered, on purpose, nature-loving, energy and energy healer architects to birth the blueprints of our new earth. So I would love to have you in the container. Link is below, and don't forget also the free webinar, Unlock Your Spirit Architect Mastery. You can get free access to that as well. All right, see you in the next session. The next session, I will be guiding you through how to leverage your intuitive gifts to build a prospering architecture practice that attracts divine match clients, radiant health, and overflowing abundance, as well as creativity. And deep fulfillment without the depletion, without the stress, without the overworking, without the overpleasing, without trying to do all these acrobatics, extremely draining acrobatics of maintaining your 2 personas. Do you relate with this? The high achieving architect on one side and the energy healer on the other. You know, you may be doing all the energy healing work hidden, or maybe only applying it on certain projects with maybe family and friends or certain clients, but most of the time you're working on the conventional projects with conventional clients, and you feel ready to now merge those two parts of you together, unite them into whole, into one. You've been carrying the sacred keys for so long to build the temples of our future. And it's time that you share these keys with the world. And I want to support you to successfully utilize those keys and build a rock star architecture practice, building beautiful spaces and healing spaces that heal this planet. All right, see you in the next and final session of this series. Bye-bye.